academia, people do, scholars do examine different scopes of communication, different scopes of process of communication. Okay, but communication, biology has come to a certain level of development. Okay, physics has come to a certain level of development. There are accepted theories, world accepted theories. But communication is a subject that is always updating, right? There's no a single uh, accepted point, right? Accepted point means anything can be changed in the next time. The thing I taught now can be changed in your next syllabus because this is a rapidly updating, right? So let's see how the very beginning of this communication studies as a subject of academia does happen, right? Uh, as we know, communication started as a process since the very beginning of life on the earth, right? But studying communication as a subject has been started since the first half of the 20th century, right? එතකොට ඔයාලට තේරෙන්න ඕනේ communication කියන එක process එකක් විදිහට implement වෙලා කොච්චර කාලයකට පස්සේද අපි මේක subject එකක් විදිහට study කරන්න පටන් ගන්න තියෙන්නේ කියලා, right? And the intense development of communication technology, right? Communication කියන එක පුතා කොහොමද තිබ්බ? Communication was there, right? But people changed the form of communication, right? People they invented television, they invented radio, they invented what we say, newspaper, and they changed the form they communicate, right? And this huge change of this technology of communication did happen during the industrial revolution that took place based in Europe by 1688 and the First World War, Second World War, right? I think you have learned them in history. හරිද?
Yeah.
කාර්මික විප්ලවය, පළවෙනි ලෝක යුද්ධය සහ දෙවන ලෝක යුද්ධය කියන දේවල් නිසා may can develop වෙමින් පැවති communication. The communication that has been developing get an intense boost, right? ඒක එක පාටම intensively boost වුණා මේ කියන communication technology එක. මොකද අර කියන industrial revolution, first world war and the second world war, right? Therefore, first world war and second world war වලින් පස්සේ ඒ වෙනකන් ආපු communication pattern එක වෙනස් වෙලා. The communication pattern up to then was rapidly changed and the emergence of mass media thus happened, right? By these scenarios. Okay. After the implementation, emergence and development of mass media, the media was used in World War as well for war communication. If you know and if you are aware of something about world wars, you may get about Morse signs, right? Morse සංඥා කියලා අපි කියන්නේ පුතා. ඒ කියන්නේ අර යුද්ධ කාලේ නැව් අතරේ communicate කරන්න what they used Morse signs. And about the communication processes used by Adolf Hitler in Germany. They used communication for war communication, right? To communicate between their own parties and to threat the other oppositions. They used communication. But after the end, by the termination of world wars and industrial revolution, there was no any use of war communication, right? I called that war communication. War communication was not much useful after the termination of war because without war there's no need of war communication. No. So the technology used for war communication were then transferred into mass communication, right? The same media used for war communication were transferred their form to entertain and generate information to the public, right? Likewise, news, teledramas, films, newspapers, all those transferred their main thing, right? Their main purpose from war communication to entertain and generate information for public, right? This is the very beginning of how mass communication happened, right? This is a story, just get the story, right? There's no point to note down, there's no logic to think here. This is just a story, right? After making those media to entertain and generate information for public, there was, in Sri Lanka these days, so communication is using by a certain political group, a certain elite to control over the public, right? As well in sorry, as well in primitive ages, elites of the society. අපි කියනවා සමාජයේ හිටපු ප්‍රභූවරු කියලා. සල්ලි තිබ්බ, ධනය තිබ්බ, බලය තිබ්බ. People who had the power, who had the wealth, they used media, actually not used, they misused media to attain their commercial aspects and in aim of establishing their power over public, right? Because they use media and communication media especially as a tool to maintain, as a tool to manipulate the public, right? ඒගොල්ලන්ට සාමාන්‍ය මිනිස්සුන්ව පාලනය කරන්න ඕනේ වුණාම එයාලා මිනිස්සුන්ව පාලනය කරන tool එකක් ආයුධයක් විදිහට they used to use media, right? And the significant development of communication technology, as I told you previous, communication is still developing, right? It has not stopped its development because everything goes in communication. We get thousands and millions of applications for our mobile phones within a day. The mode of communication is always transferring from one to another. Such like communication is developing all the way. Make හැම වෙලේම develop වෙමින් තියෙන්නේ. And development of mass media, not just communication technology, but as well media. At the very beginning, there were only newspapers in the world, and then it came the radio, and then it came the cinema, then it came the television, and then it came the internet. Now all the communication methods are based on internet. Okay, then internet
Yes.
මත පදනම් වෙලා හැමදේම වෙනවා. So mass media also has been developed, and as well the impact media made on the society is developing, right? And this, all these things, right? What I have highlighted here, the significant development of communication technology, development of mass media, it means the modes of communication, and the impact media made on the society caused communication to develop as an independent field of study, because people always wanted to study the dynamics of these three processes. People do studied how media communication technology is developing. People wanted to study how mass media is developing, and people studied how media is affecting on the society. Studying on these three things made communication studies to an independent field of study.